يا ربي صل على محمد.
Ask the three questions, and it is curious that the target of the questions was never explicitly mentioned. They will ask a question, but it is supposed to lead to the target. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what was the target. When they questioned him about the ruh, he gave them just this much. That's it, nothing more. And when they questioned him about the great traveler, then he gave them the answer. The question is leading to Gog and Magog, and Gog and Magog is a major sign of Akhirul Zaman. When they questioned him about the young men in the cave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not repeat the question before giving the answer. And because he did this because the target of the question was Dajjal, but we have covered this already. And now we are on to Gog and Magog. Let me say it one more time, that Islamic eschatology is, in my opinion, the most important branch of knowledge in Islam at this time in the history of the world. Without Islamic eschatology, you cannot understand the world at the most difficult and dangerous moment in human history. And at the heart of Islamic eschatology is Gog and Magog. So if anyone, whoever he may be, has made a contribution to Islamic eschatology, let us see what have you said about Gog and Magog so that we can check your credentials, whether in fact you have made a contribution or you have not as yet made a contribution to Islamic eschatology. It is only peripheral if you have not addressed the subject of Gog and Magog. And if you want to address the subject of Gog and Magog, the first place you have to start is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the subject. And He has addressed the subject in the Quran. And so tell the world of Islamic scholarship out there, if they care to listen to me. I don't think they want to listen to me, but never mind. If they ever care to listen to me while I am still alive, this is my message to you. That this is the most important subject in Islamic eschatology, Gog and Magog, apart from Dajjal. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has addressed the subject in the Quran. So don't make a fool of yourself by ignoring the Quran, by being silent on the Quran and going to one solitary hadith to, this is my view on Gog and Magog, full stop, next subject. Is that scholarship? What does the Quran say about Gog and Magog? This is what we are attempting to explain. Dzulqarnain, we have said, Dzulqarnain, the great traveler, is not the name of the person. No. This is a description. Someone who possesses two qarns. And the qarn can mean either a horn or it can mean a people, an age, an epoch, a generation. Which is it? And we use proper methodology to dismiss the view that Dzulqarnain could be someone with two horns. Dismiss that, because proper methodology is to let the Quran answer the question. And every time Allah has used the word qarn in the Quran, He's always used it for this meaning: a people, an age, a generation, an epoch, but never for a horn. And so we've dismissed that. But if a schoolboy wants to believe it's two horns, well, let him go his way and we go our way. No need for any boxing gloves. Hmm? Now then, so we're dealing with a subject which has two stages, two parts. You have the first Karn and you have the second Karn, which makes it Karnain. Am I clear? The Quran tells us about the first Karn. It does not tell us about the second, because the second has not as yet occurred by the time the Quran was revealed. Has the second occurred since then? It is for you to do your homework. Don't ask me to answer every question. That's why I'm now sending some replies to people who send questions to me, and the replies, won't you think? Won't you think, instead of my giving you the answer? Can't you think? My opinion is no. The second Qarn has not as yet occurred. There is no evidence in the 1400 years of history since the Quran was revealed that the second Qarn has occurred. And so Dzulqarnain deals with two Qarns, two ages, two epochs, two people, two generations. The first one is described in the Quran. The second is yet to occur. This is scholarship. This is what we want from the world of Islamic scholarship, not eat your biryani and go home and sleep. And so now, the Quran describes Dzulqarnain as someone who has faith in Allah. Are we the only people who have faith? The Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Where did this rubbish come from? Are there not other people with faith as well? Even before this Ummah came into being, you had people with faith in the world. But no, we are the only ones who have faith. Truth is only with us. We have a monopoly on faith. Where did this rubbish come from? Yes, you can say that there is absolute truth in the Quran, that there is uncorrupted and incorruptible truth in the Quran. That is a valid statement. But to say that we who follow Muhammad, we have a monopoly on truth, that's a load of garbage. And so now, Dzulqarnain is someone who possesses faith. And he exists before the time of Nabi Muhammad ﷺ. And he is given power by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Power to pursue any objective he chooses to pursue. And the rabbis are asking about travel, about journeys, and therefore bedded into geography. He travels to the two ends of the land, and this is geography. Maybe they didn't study geography when they were eating the biryani. This is geography. He traveled to the two ends of the land, and this is ayah muhkama. We don't need any interpretation here. He traveled to the two ends of the land. This man who has power, who has faith. But there is no identification of him with any historical personality. No. He's presented as a human being in this passage of the Quran, but not identified. And I am not identifying him with any historical personality. If you want to do that, go your way and leave me alone. No need for any boxing gloves. This is my eschatology. I do not identify him with anyone. Rather, I say, if you identify him with any historical personality, and he has to impact on two ages, and the first one was a few thousand years ago, Is he going to live for a few thousand years? Or are you going to send him on a spacecraft to the moon and bring him back after a few thousand years? Don't you have any sense in your head? Which human being has lived for a few thousand years? Huh? Which human being? Unless Allah took Nabi Isa alayhi salam away from this world. And he's not in this world of space and time. He's in another world and he'll come back. Like the young men in the cave. Backward and forward movement in time. And so after 300 years, they did not age. They were not in biological time. Dzulqarnain is not any historical personality who is put away in some world of space and time other than ours and will come back after a few thousand years. Forget that. We're not going down that road. We will not identify Dzulqarnain with any historical personality. If you insist on that, would you kindly go your way and leave me alone? Have I made myself plain and clear? This is my eschatology. You have yours, go your way. I'm not budging on this at all. We are not going to identify Dzulqarnain with any historical personality. Rather, we are concerned with an event which occurred in the past and which will recur in the future. That is Qarnain, two currents. And so now he travels in the direction of the setting of the sun, and the sun sets in the west. So we're dealing with geography and we're dealing with direction. We're not dealing with sunlight and solar energy. No. And he comes to a body of water beyond which he cannot go. So it has to be a huge body of water. And the water is described as hamia. It is a lake of water which is hamia, dark and murky, and only one body of water qualifies, and that's the Black Sea. How did we arrive at this geographical location of the Black Sea? We can do some more explanation for you, but not at this time. But sufficient to say that several of the mufassirun of the Quran, mufassir comes from tafsir. The mufassir is the one who engages in tafsir. Tafsir is explanation here of the Quran. So people who explain the Quran are mufassirun. So the mufassirun, several of them have come to the conclusion that the body of water is the Black Sea. Amongst them is the famous Ibn Kathir. So again, you want to differ with me, no problem, no need for any boxing gloves there. If he travels to the two ends of the land, and at one end he comes to a body of water, I use my thinking process. I use my own judgment to come to the conclusion that at the other end there must also be water. But you don't have to accept my view at all. So I'm looking for a body of water on this side, the west, and a body of water on that side, the east. And because I locate this one to be the Black Sea, it's clear as daylight. The other one has to be the Caspian Sea. And I know that this has to be to the north of the Holy Land. Why? Why can't it be somewhere in Vietnam, in Australia, somewhere else, in Chile? Huh? Why? Because the journey eventually of Dzulqarnain is going to take us to Gog and Magog. And when Nabi Isa alayhi salam is to return, the last of them will pass by the Sea of Galilee on their way to Jerusalem. when the last of them passed at that time, when Nabi Isa alayhi salam used to return, when the last of them passed by the Sea of Galilee on his way to Jerusalem, he would say, there used to be water here. Whether there is water at this time or not, what we have known in the last few decades is that the water level has been declining consistently until it appeared that the Sea of Galilee was going to dry up. If there is an abundance of water in the Sea of Galilee today, does that disqualify me? Does that mean that my thinking and my analysis is invalid? Tell the schoolboy to get lost. When Nabi Isa alayhi salam is to return, when Jesus is to return, and the last of Gog and Magog pass by the Sea of Galilee on their way to Jerusalem, they will say there used to be water here. So clearly, you will not find the return of Jesus while there is still water in the Sea of Galilee. But if you're passing by the Sea of Galilee to go to Jerusalem, you're coming from the north. That's why we eliminate Chile and Australia. It has to be the north. And that's why we say the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea qualify. This is our geography. You may have yours. My critics always have something else to say. So let them say what they want to say. And therefore, these are the two journeys. One to the west, which ended at the Black Sea, and one to the east, which ended at the Caspian Sea. When he traveled in the direction of the Black Sea, and remember, don't forget, whoever controls Crimea controls the Black Sea. This is the strategic implication of the position of Crimea. Whoever controls Crimea controls the Black Sea and the littoral states around the Black Sea. And so now, when he reached to the setting of the sun, he came upon a people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him, how will you treat them? And this is the reply. Since he has the power and he has the faith, when power rests on the foundations of faith, power is used to punish the oppressor. And that's what he was. He said, I'll do that. And power is used to bring relief to the oppressed, to those who have faith and whose conduct is righteous. He said, that's what I'll do. And if this was what happened in the first Qarn, then you will know when the second Qarn is coming, and this is a very important part of the session now. The flag by which you will recognize that the second Qarn is here is when power returns to the region of the Black Sea, and that power rests on the foundations of faith, and that power is now used to resist the oppressors of the world, to punish the oppressors of the world, and to bring relief and help to those who have faith and who are righteous in conduct. Open your eyes and see what is happening in the region of the Black Sea. Open your eyes and see what has happened to Crimea, and you will know, as I know, that we are now living on the verge of the second Qarn. This is enough for today. I have whetted your appetite now. But those of you who are now going to study your geography and who are now going to look to see where is power returning to the Black Sea area? Who has power in the Black Sea area? Power to do whatever you choose to do. Such great power that the oppressors of the world are now checked and eventually checkmated. I thank you for studying the subject of eschatology, and I thank you now for the time that you devote to Gog and Magog. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.